Hey guys, how's it going? It's Friday around noon. Yeah, around noon. And in the last video, I finished off by crossing off, buffing the rest of the truck out, and I have finished that. I just finished it about an hour ago, I guess. I'll do a quick walk around and I'll show you what how it looks. Looks damn good. I'm pretty happy with it. It's shiny everywhere, and then any little spots here and there after will be taken care of when it gets its final bath in the spring when it's ready to go down the road. So yeah, I can put the buffer away for a while, don't need it. Gonna get into some other things and cross some crap off my list, and we'll go over that in a minute. So I'll just do a quick walkabout here. So yeah, all my touch-ups came out good, everything's shiny. Got over to the back corner of the cab here, up top, all looking good. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it. Everything looks nice and straight. Oh yeah, there we go. One shiny blue truck. Yeah, I'm very happy with it. You can tell by just the reflections of things in the paint. It's pretty freaking good. So yeah, I'm pleased. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. I'm going to take a look at the list there real quick and see what I want to do, what I want to tackle next. So we'll go from there. All right, so I'm looking at my list here, and I got a bunch of things up here that kind of require the truck to go up in the air a little bit. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to muck out this area back here, make room so I can pull the truck back and get it on my hoist and get it up in the air so I can do the work I need to do underneath and carry on that way. So a couple of the things, here's some paint touch-ups where I had a hell of a time getting the filler plug out of the diff. We ended up welding and using heat and everything else, so the paint was all mangled. The drive shaft hadn't been done yet, and the transmission pan still needs to be painted, so got that, and then any other touch-ups of the black from overspray and whatnot, get that at the same time. And then I'll dick around with that shifter linkage, I guess, and see if we can get that working properly into all gears. So like I said, it only goes into drive right now. It doesn't go into the lower two gears, so got to fix that up. And yeah, I'll show you all that stuff once I get it up in the air. All right, so took me about an hour and a half to muck out the back over there and bring the truck back. Put stuff away and clean up and sweep and all that stuff. And I lined the truck up on the hoist. And when I went to lift it, the truck was coming up at an angle. It was way lower on the other side. So I had to level out the hoist. So I dropped it back down, screwed around with it for a while, and the problem I had wasn't the problem that they tell you how to fix. And I'll show you what I mean. So to balance this thing out, there's the instructions right there. So what you do is you drop it all the way down until this is the main side or the master side, till this side's all the way down on the floor. Pull this lever down and then drop down the other side until it's all the way down. Put the lever back up and it should be level. The problem was that this side, the master side, was staying up a little bit. So it's up about 3 inches off the floor. The other side's 1.5 inches off the floor. So what I ended up doing was tricking the other side into thinking that the floor was higher by putting a couple of 2x4s underneath the legs of the hoist. And then I did the little lever thing, and now it's level and it's good. So so I'm ready to lift it. So after doing all of that, by this time it's supper time. So I go in and have supper. I come out and we're getting another foot of snow starting tonight. It's just starting now, actually. So I had to do a beer store run. Not going to be here all weekend with no beer at all. So I did a beer run, and it's like I said, it's starting to snow now, so I don't have to go anywhere this weekend. That's it. And I'm parked. Um, but it's now about 6:30, so I'm gonna get the truck up. I'll show you what I got to do under there, and we'll probably get to it tomorrow. I might do some little stuff tonight. We'll see. Anyway. There we go. Good comfortable height. So underneath here, over there, that's where the filler plug for the diff is, and obviously burnt up all the paint getting that plug out and changing it. The drive shaft still needs to be done in red. And then I got the transmission oil pan here. That needs to be painted up, cleaned up and painted. And then I've got my shifter linkage here that has to be adjusted so I can get it into low 1 and 2. So, and I'll take a look around if there's any black or whatever to be touched up. But all in all, looks pretty good under here, I think. A little bit overspray stuff here I got to fix up. Just little stuff. So anyway, yeah, get the paint brushes and the spray bombs out and get after it. So that's where I'm at on this. Okay, so it's Saturday morning. Hard to believe we had no snow 5 days ago. And we got lots of it now. You can hear snow blowers going in the background. Anyway, time to get to work. Okay, so after a little bit of more shoveling, last night I didn't do a whole lot. I just cleaned up underneath, wiped off all the dust and stuff like that, and cleaned any of the flaky loose stuff off the transmission pan. I also realized I need the dust cover for the transmission. I think it's upstairs already painted, but I'll have to take a look. In the last video or 2 videos ago, I was talking about etching primer for aluminum, and they wanted $40 for a spray can, a rattle can, and there's no way I'm not paying that. So I went through my stuff and I found this. It's wheel paint for aluminum rims, and I have used it on aluminum rims and it held up really, really well. So if it sticks to aluminum, it says right on it sticks to aluminum. I'll paraphrase, but sticks like snot to aluminum. And so I'm going to use it kind of as a primer underneath the paint. So I'll get the oil pan done with this first, and then I'll start at the rear end and work my way up forward, drive shaft and all that, and hopefully it'll be dry by the time I get to the transmission. So that's where I'm gonna start and carry on from there. It'd be nice if we could get this thing up another foot, but not in the cars. So I got a big hunk cardboard here that I'm going to use. Fix that up. Now this stuff says it's quick dry. Okay. And that should be good. Like I said, it's just acting as a primer. So I guess I'll get on the red and start doing the differential. It's drying up even as we speak. All right, so it's all painted up. Everything's pretty. Transmission pan took care of the overspray on the frame. I had a couple of spots where I had welded the tailpipes on here and then up a little bit closer to the front. Had to touch them up as well. And the rest of this stuff is just dust really. But yeah, I like it. So I'm gonna let that dry. I don't want to mess around down here and end up with red hair or red paint all over my hair. I think I've already touched it 3 times. So I got shifter linkage to do, and I'll explain what I'm going to be doing here in to fix the problem that I have. Okay, so here's what's going on, and here's what my solution is. So we've got the transmission, and we've got the shifter. Here's the floor. Shifter sticks out about that much. On the side of the transmission, there's this arm here. So this arc here to get to all the gears is like so. Okay, this being park, and all the way forward is low 1. Well, this arc here is very small, right? So the problem is this is picking this up through a series of linkage setups that I have, but it's only coming to about here. So if I was to extend this, make this arc or throw or whatever you want to call it match this one, then I should be able to push this all the way over into low gear and, you know, have them all working smooth. So basically the throw of this has to match the same throw as the transmission. So I need something to extend this little arm here. So I'm going to take a look. I've got a box full of stuff and see what I got. All right, so a little while back, a buddy of mine was mucking out an old motorcycle shop. The place had sold, and the shop had to be emptied out by the end of that week. And he called me up, said, you know, should come over and check it out. Maybe there's something you could use. So I did go, and you know, there were some hand tools. I grabbed a few of those. You know, a big case of various stainless acorn nuts and chrome nuts and stuff like that. Some Allen head bolts, another case of those. A third case of various fine coarse thread bolts. All stuff that I'm always using. But there was this one bag full of stuff. It was all oddball stuff, fittings and bushings and spacers and stuff like that. So yeah, I grabbed it all and I threw it into a box and I labeled it. Put it on a shelf and labeled it miscellaneous magic stuff. So I'm gonna open this up and see what I got. I'm pretty confident there'll be something in here that I can use to extend that linkage. I can't really get a camera on it to show you what I'm doing. That's why I explained it on the floor. Basically, it's just extending that arm on the shifter itself. So I'm looking for something for that. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna get to it. Okay, so here's the box, and I was rooting through it already. There's a lot of tools in here, you know, all kinds of Allen wrenches and stuff like that. But one piece jumped out at me, and that's this one right here, and it's got a bit of a hook in it, right? So even if I don't use this piece because it's pretty heavy, it gives me an idea of what I can make one. I like the idea of the hook. It might help my cause a little bit, and yeah, something very similar to this. That's pretty thick though, man. I don't know. This one here, has the most promise, I think. I'm going to play around with it a little bit and see if I can use this or not. If I can't, like I say, it gives me an idea of what I can fabricate something. The big thing is attaching it to the shifter itself, so it doesn't, it won't move. It's got to be double bolted or pinned and bolted, or some kind of a collar on it or something. But yeah, I think I can start working with this. So I'll take this out, put the box away, and see what I come up with. Alright, so out of a piece of cardboard, I made this. I'll show you how this is going to fit. Note the bend there. I'll show you what it's all about. So we'll go underneath here. Alright, so there's the shifter arm right there. So that's what the bend is for. It's going to fit right on there, so I can bolt it, through the top here, as well as into the existing hole that's in there right now. That way this here is not going to want to do this stuff. And I put a bit of a hook in it. I don't think it has to be that extreme. Maybe a little less than that. But something very similar to this. So I'll cut this out of steel. I've got some, all I need really, I think, is 1/8, 3/16, something like that. That other stuff, that's over 1/4 of an inch. It's too thick. But anyway, that's about all I'm going to have time for. I'm going to play around with that, and probably in the next video I'll show you how it all worked. Alright, so there you go. Like I said, that's all I got time for today. In the next video I'll have that shifter linkage done. I got a pretty good idea of what I want to do, and I think it'll work out right away. I'm even going to make it where I've got a couple of extra holes in it, so I can adjust it a little bit more once it's all together. So there's that, and yeah, so all the paint work is done underneath. Don't have to worry about that anymore. That I can cross off my list. That's cool. And then once I get that linkage done, I got to find that dust cover for the transmission, put that on, and then I'm going to pull the wheels off and re-bleed all the brakes, adjust the back brakes, and see if we can get that sponginess out of the pedal, I should say. And yeah, then I'll be done underneath. I won't have anything else to do down there. So that's a big deal. And yeah, then I'll work towards getting the hood together and on the truck. So I'm hoping my parts order comes in next week. This week was a mess because of the 2 storms we had, so deliveries haven't been happening. Even our friggin' mailman, he only worked 1 day this week. Whatever, that through rain, sleet, snow, and all that other bullshit. Yeah, it's not true. Anyway, if you like the content, please subscribe, and tell your buddies and your chums. Help spread the word. Don't be shy. Leave comments. Like the page and all those good things, and share it with your friends. And if you don't do anything else, get out in the garage and build something, man. Later, guys.